if Mr. Serge Monet, who was killed by the elite, if Mr. Serge Monet was accurate in how Project Bluebeam, he gave the different steps. If he's accurate, then right now we are in the first step. And the fact that they already came out with these disclosures, they already did the movie Disclosure Day. Trump gave some disclosures and he's supposed to give some more. It's like they're laying the framework. Because I believe step 2 of Project Bluebeam is that you will see these different images via holograms in the sky. You all can believe what you like, but one thing I do know is, because they tell us, is that America, they have the technology to control the weather. I'm not saying that other, countries may not have use of it, but Lyndon Johnson says he who controls the weather, they will control the world. And those of us who have ears to hear and believe what the scriptures say, then we know that America, Babylon, is where the Antichrist will rise from. So if America is controlling the world, if America is controlling the weather, he who controls the weather controls the world. So if America is the superpower, basically controlling the world, then that means they control the weather. And when I saw this thing that happened in Venezuela, the first thing that came to my mind is that I believe this was man-made. 2 earthquakes back to back. Strong, powerful. One hit, then 39 seconds later, I believe they say 39 seconds later, then the other one hit. And not just in Venezuela, but it hit in other areas. Now, we know that a part of Agenda 2030, again, for those of us who have eyes to see and ears to hear, that they will use weather warfare technology to cause droughts, floods, earthquakes, wildfires, hurricanes, etc. They will blame it on climate change, which is then used as the excuse to further lock down, rob, and control the population. I believe it. It's up to you to believe it or not. But this is what they tell you they're going to do. Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, they tell you this is what they're going to do. And says in less than 24 hours, powerful earthquakes struck across 4 continents, highlighting just how active Earth's tectonic plates can be. A rare M7.5 earthquake doublet shook near Venezuela, while additional strong quakes rattled Japan, North Carolina, Papua New Guinea, and the Philistine, and the Philippines. So that's like 4 places at once. Now, this is what Mr. Serge Monet said. No, before I go to what he said, just to give you all proof that it will be America, the rulers of the world, Babylon, the whore, the beast that sits on these other nations. It will be the whore who will cause these different weather manipulated patterns, these floods that you see all over the place, and these tornadoes and these wildfires that you see all over the place. It is America. It is America. And some may say, well, you got other places that are doing that. I still believe that it is America, because America is where all this stuff stems from, because this is where the beast rises from. One of the names the Antichrist has is the King of Babylon. And the Word of God says that all whose names are not written in the book of life, they will worship him. So it's like everything that we see that's going on around the world, America has her hands in it. And a lot of people, they're doing things because they're following orders of the beast system. And everything is lining up. But I want y'all to listen. Now, first, Mr. Kennedy said this. And then the one who I believe had him murdered, his vice president, came and said it as well. Check this out.
Cooperative effort. Further, between all the cooperative efforts in weather between all the nations, and eventually in weather control. Further, cooperative efforts between all the nations in weather prediction, and eventually in weather control.
Okay, now that was excuse me for not being able to have this stuff savvy how other pages have it, but that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to have things properly edited and clipped, and so it's just right off the cuff is how I'm doing it. But after Mr. Kennedy said it, then the one who I believe had him murdered, his murderer, Lyndon Johnson.
For new frontiers, new visions. It calls for us taking the steps now that will make us no longer second in space.
So you want to be first.
It lays the predicate and the foundation for a space communication satellite that will permit the people of the world to see one television program at the same time throughout the world. Think about that kind of communication, and think about the opportunity that will provide. It lays the predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer, and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
America.
It lays the predicate for the steps that are necessary to send a man to the moon.
America.
It lays the steps that are necessary to provide a nuclear rocket
America.
that will produce benefits that are so unlimited that I couldn't tell you about them if I had all that. But that's the kind of a world that you're living in.
Now, They have this, if you haven't watched it, this documentary called The Deming. That is an awesome documentary. The Deming. Dimming. Check that video out, because this will let you know that it is America. He said, he who controls the weather controls the world. It is America who is in control. It is America that's the superpower. Says climate engineering was spoken on over 60 years ago, as over 2/3 of the United States are preparing for a hard freeze. This was in 2022. These next few days, take this opportunity to watch this attached documentary, The Deming. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. I just believe right now, just like Mr. Serge Monet said, I think he said it's 4 steps, 3 steps. Right now, this will be the first step. Now, just to let you all know who this man is. Now, whenever Donald Trump says something, people always say he's just joking around. Now, he was giving a speech at some conference. And he mentioned, he said, our founders invoked the Creator 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. And he says, I wasn't mentioned once. I'm very upset. If you look that up, everybody says he's just joking around. Now, when he says I wasn't mentioned, he's speaking about him as being God. He say they invoked the Creator, but he wasn't mentioned. And I just believe Satan wasn't mentioned, because this is who will take up residency in his body when he becomes the Antichrist, especially at the 3.5-year mark, when Satan is thrown down from heaven after the tribulation saints make it up. And they get into, because see what Satan is going to do. He's going to try to prevent the tribulation saints from going up. And Michael and his angels, they toss him down. They toss him down. And this is when the Word of God says that during that time, that's going to be the worst time period ever. There's never been a time like it, because Satan knows he has only a short period. He will be literally on earth, because right now he can work from the heavens, and he got his demons working throughout different places and regions, and they got a prince of Persia, a prince of America, these demons who rule and reign. But right now he's still up in the heavens. He was tossed from the 3rd heaven, but he's still in the heavens. But at that 3.5-year mark, he's going to be thrown down completely. And that's when he will fully take over Donald Trump. And this is when, again, the Word of God says there has never been a time like it, nor will it ever be. It's going to be so bad. So I just want to just look at what Serge Monet said. Just look at the Project Bluebeam again. And again, in Venezuela and 3 other places, same day, you had earthquakes. Now, earthquakes, and he said the first step in the NASA Bluebeam project concerns the breakdown, reevaluation of all archaeological knowledge. It deals with the setup with artificially created earthquakes at certain precise locations on the planet. of supposedly new discoveries which will finally explain to all people the era of all fundamental religious doctrines. And this is why, again, I think they went ahead and set up the whole disclosure date. So they had to talk about, the aliens, and I'm going to give you the rest of the documents. Trump said he's going to release the rest of the files or whatever. So they had to lay that ground first. So now here we are with the first step of Project Bluebeam. Now he said the falsification of this information will be used to make all nations believe that their religious doctrines have been misunderstood for centuries and misinterpreted. Psychological preparations for the first step have already been implemented with the film 2001 Space Odyssey, the Star Trek series, and Independence Day, all of which deal with invasions from space and the coming together of all nations to repel the invaders. The last film, Jurassic Park, deals with the theories of evolution and claim God's words are lies. So the earthquakes, if he's correct now, the earthquakes will be the first step. And again, we just had 4 in different places on one day. He said that's the first step. The second step, let's see what he says, what the second step is. He said, what is important to understand in the first step is that those earthquakes will hit at different parts of the world where scientific and archaeological teachings have indicated that arcane mysteries have been buried. By those types of earthquakes, it will be possible for scientists to rediscover those arcane mysteries, which will be used to discredit all fundamental religious doctrines. This is the first preparation for the plan for humanity, because what they want to do is to destroy the beliefs of all Christians and Muslims on the planet. To do that, they need some false proof from the far past that will prove to all nations that their religions have all been misinterpreted and misunderstood. So the first step is the earthquakes. The second step, again, Trump already laid the foundation for that. He said he's going to give more disclosures, got more to come. And they already had the movie disclosure. They got getting everybody ready for it. Okay, first step is the earthquakes. The second step in the NASA Bluebeam project involves a gigantic space show with 3-dimensional optical holograms and sounds, laser projection of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different image according to predominating regional, national religious faith. The new God's voice will be speaking in all languages. Yesterday, I just found that they have a patent number for a voice of God technology. Now, from what they said it was only used during the war times. We're not using it anymore. You think they will give up that kind of power? You think they're going to give that up? Again, he said this new God's voice will be speaking in all languages. Everybody's going to hear it. They say it's voice to skull technology. How is that possible? How is everybody going to be able to hear that? They got the technology in the people's bodies during Operation Warp Speed. Most of the people. And then the people who don't have the technology, then everybody else around them are going to be saying it, because the majority of the people took the vaccines. It says, in order to understand that, we must study various secret services. Research done in the last 25 years. The Soviets have perfected an advanced computer, even exported them, and fed them with the minute physiopsychological particulars based on their studies of the anatomy and electromechanical composition of the human body, and the studies of the electrical, chemical, and biological properties of the human brain. These computers were fed with the languages of all human cultures and their meanings. The dialects of all cultures have been fed into the computers from satellite transmissions. This is why Elon Musk seems like every day he's throwing up satellites. The Soviets began to feed the computers with objective programs like the ones of the new Messiah. It also seems that the Soviets, the New World Order group, have resorted to suicidal methods with the human society by allocating electronic wavelengths for every person in every society and culture to induce suicidal thoughts if the person doesn't comply with the dictates of the New World Order. Now, they have a lot of people who, when they commit, quote unquote, these different crimes, a lot of these people, like school shootings, mass murderers, all of that, when they talk to these people, a lot of these people always say they hear voices. And I believe this is that technology. You got a lot of people committing suicide because I believe they are targeting people. They are using that technology on people to kill themselves and to kill others. And Revelation 6, I believe it is, verse 4, that red horse, it talks about how they will kill one another. I believe because during the tribulation period, that technology that they have on the inside of most of the people's bodies, they're going to be speaking to them in different languages, telling them to either commit suicide or kill one another. Now, those who receive the mark won't be able to die. But others who refuse the mark, they're going to be hearing these voices. And this is why it's important, and I know the Lord has been having me to warn people, you got to give up this world, because those who miss the rapture, it's not going to be as easy as you think it is, so-called Christians, to endure to the end. It's not going to be that easy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be extremely difficult. Now, there's going to be an angel that's going to have a bowl of prayers that is going to be dumped down. So this is why it's important now for the saints to pray for the lost, to pray for these lukewarm Christians, because you're not going to get, the only help you're going to receive is going to be the prayers that we're ushering up right now. And this is why the Lord has been having me to talk to the church, the believers. Y'all act like America is not a part of the world. The word of God says, love not the world. And y'all love America. Talk about this, your country, and you're patriotic. I'm telling you, you're going to miss the rapture. And it's not going to be easy to endure to the end. But you must. It's not going to be easy at all. Now, the third part, it says there are two different aspects to step 2. The first is the space show. Where does the space show come from? The space show is where holographic images will be used in a simulation of the ending, during which all nations will be shown scenes that will be the fulfillment of that which they desire to verify the prophecies and adversary events. These will be projected from satellites onto the sodium layer about 60 miles above the earth. We see testing once in a while. These are the people who claim to see these images in the sky. They just prepping people. But they are called UFOs and flying saucer sightings. The result of these deliberately staged events will be to show the world the new Christ, the new Messiah, Maitreya, for the immediate implementation of the new world religion. Enough truth will be foisted upon the unsuspecting world to hook them into the lie. Even the most learned will be deceived. See, this is why it's important. Those of you who consider yourselves Christians, y'all need to turn America loose, because if you don't, you're going to go through the tribulation period if you live to go through it, because you love the world. America is the world. You can't see that? No, you can't see it, because you're being deceived. You're under the strong delusion. I mean, everywhere you look around, there's a flag. Some church got a flag. They represent Babylon. They represent the world. And I know y'all get upset when I say that, but you're not going to have an excuse. And God is going to remind you that he sent somebody to tell you that America is the world. America is a part of the world that God says you're not supposed to love. Don't get mad. Fall on your face and cry out to God and ask him to open your eyes, because you've been deceived. Now, just like he said, enough truth will be foisted upon the unsuspecting world to hook them into the lie. Even the most learned will be deceived. He said if it was possible, even the very elect would be deceived. This means it's going to be so bad. You must endure to the end. That's the only way you're gonna be amongst that number, that multitude that John saw, those who had their heads chopped off. You're gonna have to endure to the end. There are no guarantees that you're gonna make it out. This is why it is important right now to live holy, a sanctified, separate life, because it's gonna be very difficult. And they have started. This is step one, I believe. It says the project has perfected the ability for some devices referred to as the tractor beams by ufologists. It will be lifted up an enormous number of people as in the rapture. Okay, I don't even want to read the rest of this, because I did a video on this. And if you all have a desire to look into it, you can. But I just believe that step one has started. Again, 2 earthquakes in Venezuela, back to back, 39 seconds apart, I believe it was. Then Japan was hit. Then California was hit. Then New Guyana was hit. And the Philippines was hit. Again, the first step. The falsifications of this information will be used to make all nations believe that their religious doctrines have been misunderstood for centuries. This thing is quite serious. This thing is quite serious. And these earthquakes, they're happening all over the place. And he says it will be possible for scientists to rediscover those arcane mysteries, which will be used to discredit all fundamental religious doctrines. This is the reason for these earthquakes. And the first step is that those earthquakes will hit at different parts of the world. Did we not just see this? So, again, I read the entire Project Bluebeam in a different video. So if you all desire to go back and listen to it, you can. But I believe right now we just witnessed step one, and following shortly behind will be step two, where they're gonna put these images in the sky, and they're gonna use that that voice of God technology to speak to the people. You're gonna hear voices in your head. Some people are going to be having suicidal thoughts, telling them to kill themselves, or either telling them to kill others, or telling them who their God is. This thing is about to get bad. It's not automatic if you miss the rapture that you're going to make it out of the tribulation period, Christians. I know a lot of y'all don't believe Christians are going to make it because y'all believe in that whole millions and millions of Christians are going to disappear. The Bible doesn't say that. It says narrow is the way that leads to life, and only a few will find it. That's the rapture. It's not going to be no millions. True indeed, John saw a multitude that no man could number. But that could be some of these people who the word of God saying some will be last, will be first. Some of them could go up. Some of those, where he's saying in last could be first, some of those people could be amongst the some. The Church of Smyrna speaks about how some of you will be jailed for 10 days and then you will be killed. That could possibly be some people who don't even believe in God right now. But during the tribulation period, who knows? They whole mindset could change and they could become a witness for God. And in 10 days, they make it up. The Lord gave that parable where, he called some to work and he told them how much he would give them. And then at the last hour, he called some others and they got the same reward. So in that multitude that John saw, that don't have to be all of the Christians who missed the rapture. That could be a bunch of unsaved people. Some of the Christians who missed the rapture, some of them not going to make it. The word of God said you must endure to the end. He says, he that overcomes, that means you got to overcome what you're going through. So you can be an overcomer now and live holy, but see, y'all don't want to do that. Y'all love America. Y'all want to hold on to America. And America is a part of the world that God says, love not. So I believe we have just witnessed the first step in Serge Monet's Project Bluebeam.